So let's move to the key functional areas of market settlements. As I mentioned earlier, market settlement management is using the same framework as other applications like M2M or C2M. So this doesn't cause any integration or synchronization issues. It supports the vModel hierarchy to sync master data. You can see the complete view of master data using 360-degree view portal. Apart from this, you can also configure the standalone data like weather data, temperature, measurements or etc. So let's move to the application. We'll see the 360-degree view portal where the user can see the whole master data in a single page itself. So here is your C2M application with market settlement management. In the main menu, you can go to the 360-degree search view where you can search through address, device or through name. So through device identifier type search, you can have options to search the device through assert ID, batch number, pallet number, serial number, etc. So let's search through batch number. So here you can see the device details, measuring component details, service point and usage subscription. Single 360-degree view portal, you can see a different tabs like measuring component tab, where you can see the various meter registers are attached with that particular device. So for that particular device, there are two meter registers are configured. One is interval, another is a scalar one. Here is the device detail which is connected with that particular service point. This is the installation details and this is the usage subscription where you can see the details of the contact person. You can also see the details of service point and the timelines for the usage transaction. Here is the usage subscription details and this is the contact ID. If you want a detail of any particular portal like service point or device, then you can also click that particular link to see more details about the service point. If you want to get more details for device, then please click on the device link, then you can get more information about the device. Okay, now let's move to the another section, the aggregation and load settlement. So as you know that aggregation is the process of grouping things together, and this grouping is essential for settlement processes that need to sum up the consumption by market entity so they can be billed. So I can say that aggregation can be used for settlement and can also be used for other types of data analysis like meter consumption to the transformer level or substation level. So here the dynamic aggregation performs through various attributes, or you can say a combination of multiple dimensions such as retailer rate class, customer class, profile class or etc. So now let's move to the application where we can see or how aggregation work through various dimensions. So here is the various aggregation groups we can create like for initial settlement, for final settlements. So this is the aggregation group where they have a various measuring component sets like mass interval market intervals for all the intervals data. So this is all scalar consumers. This is individually model intervals. This is individually model scalar. So those MC sets you can configure to any aggregation group. So whenever this aggregation group will run, it will aggregate all the data which you have configured as part of measuring component set. So when you click on the measuring component set, we can find out various dimensions what we will set or the criterias also. So here this is a measuring component set where you have a various dimensions. So based on this particular dimensions like product class, profile class, rate class, the system will aggregate the measuring component sets based on this particular dimensions what we have configured here. These are the criterias. So there is the values where you can put it as a criteria like residentials, like zones, whatever the zones we need to add it through aggregation. So these are the MC sets where you can create the dimensions and criteria, which is really very important during the aggregation run. So here you can see those are the only measuring components which we have configured in the dimensions and the criteria. The system will aggregate those only measuring components. So here the user has the option to run this aggregation group through schedule basis or through manually also. So if you will click on this add button, you can manually or ad hoc basis you can run this particular aggregation group, or through schedule also you can run this aggregation. So the user have both the options to run those aggregation groups. We can configure this aggregation group for final settlement, for initial settlement, for day ahead settlement, etc. Now let's move to the next section. Okay, so awards are nothing but the deals made in association with the product, and a product which is a structured procurement of any service or commodity that can either be purchased or sold. So for example, any distribution company A offers a product at auction for 7 tranches for residential load, for which wholesalers or retailers can bid. So here there are a lot of market product sets where one market product has been awarded through market contract, and this market contract has been won by any market participants which is a part of market. So here this is the interrelationship between the market participant and market product through market contract. So let's see those information through application itself. So here is a market award through like fixed profile, through percentage, through tranches, through auction based. So we can configure market awards through various type of categories. So let's see through tranches. So this market award is having the market product and the market contract. This is the award class, which is nothing but a tranches based. So here the user can also create the based on profile or through percentage based or through auction based also. So let's see the market product. So this particular market product is having market product type as well as the parent products. So in the parent products they have a various product sets also. So out of this is the one product set which was awarded by particular customer or retailer. So this is the market product set, this is the market product type. So if you will go to the market award again, and you can see the contract. So this is a particular retailer or wholesaler which is got this particular market contract or market award for that particular market product. So if you will go to the market contract where you can see the details of the retailer in this particular market contract. So this is the buyer. So this is the particular retailer. If you want to see those particular retailers, you can click on this one and you can get more details. Here this is the contract ID and this is the market contract type. Okay, so now let's move to the next section, the settlement, subscriptions and transactions. So the settlement subscriptions groups all of the calculations for a specific settlement process. So this is basically an aggregated load for the purpose of settling a market. So for example, initial settlements would be one settlement subscription and the final settlements would be another. And also settlement subscriptions having their own calculation groups and rule similar like usage subscription in MDM. And with the help of settlement transactions, results data sent to the market or to various market participants. The most important part is that settlement systems most often perform physical settlement where bill determinants are created. Some customers will require the actual billing for those determinants. So this type of settlement is called the financial settlement and a billing engine is required for that one. Okay, so now let's see those settlement subscription and transactions in application. So here is a settlement subscription for day ahead where you can see The settlement calculation groups are connected. If you will click on the calculation groups, you can find out the settlement rules, various settlement rules. These are the measuring component sets which are attached for that particular settlement subscriptions, and these are the settlement transactions. So these are the various settlement transactions from the different dates and the status also. So if you will click on any particular settlement transactions, then you can find out all the details. See here, this is a settlement transaction page where you can see the status. You can also see the which calculation groups are applicable for that particular settlement transactions, the outbound communications. So you can see those information that this is successfully sent it to the particular retailer or wholesaler through outbound communications. Here the best part is that in the settlement itself you can find out all the calculations or derived data which need to be shared to the customer. So those data will be calculated and send it to the retailer, wholesalers or any suppliers also. Okay, now let's move to the another section, the process flow. So the process flow is another major function in MSM. It's basically a user interface that guides you through a series of actions needed to accomplish any specific task. As you know, each business process flow consists of sequential steps needed to complete. So, this gives you a visual reference showing the progress of the process. In UI, you can also see for each step it presents relevant data and available actions. So now let's move to the application and we can run the process flow for one particular settlement process. So here these are the various settlement processes we have created as part of the demo data, like day ahead settlement process, initial settlement processes and final settlement processes. So let's do the initial settlement processes. Okay, so let's launch the initial settlement process. So this is the entire process flow of initial settlement process where there are total 8 steps are there. First is the information, initial aggregation, zonal load, weather data report, allocate UFE, distribute polar, then submit settlements and finally email completion. There is a start and end date is there where you can select any start or end date for initial settlement. Right now I am doing the initial settlement for 1 day, and that is for June 2nd to June 3rd, 2023. You can select any start and end date for like 1 day, for 1 week, for 1 month. Okay, so now let's click on next button. So here this is the start aggregation process where you need to execute the aggregation process. So when we will click on this run button, then the system will pick the dates from 2nd June 2023 till 3rd of June 2023. So let's click on run button. So here you can see the aggregation run status also. So here the initial settlement aggregation has been started as per the dimensions we are configured. So once all this will be complete, then we can go for the next step. So now you can see the whole rows has been completed now, where you can see that how many rows or how many measuring components has been processed successfully. Now we can move to the next step. So here is the verify initial aggregation step where you can see the results of the aggregation. So for this one you have to click on this view analytics for verify initial aggregation, and your OUAV or visuals has been shown the results. So this is the verify initial aggregations where you can see through the rate class, through profile class, through product class, you can see the current megawatt and with comparison with the previous day and the difference and the percentage difference of aggregation. Okay, so now go to the next step now. Here you can see the zonal load. So zonal load is nothing but we have uploaded the zonal load for that particular month or day. So you can also see the zonal load through view analytics. And here you can see the entire day zonal load in megawatt. Now go to the next step now. Here is the weather data report. If you want to see the weather information, then you can click on this view analytics and you can see the weather information also. So these are the weather information: effective temperature, humidity, temperature index, wind speed. You can see it through our visuals for the entire day. Now next, go to the next step by clicking on the next button. So the weather data report is also important for initial settlements or day ahead settlements, because based on the weather data, some can do the backcasting on the forecasting. Now the next step is to allocate the UFE or unaccounted for energy. For this one, you have to click on the calculate button. So let's do the calculation to calculate the UFE. See here, now the settlement transactions has been initiated, and you can see that there are 3 steps involved in this one, where you have to require the usage approval in the second row. So here the usage approval is required in the sequence 20. So now the settlement transaction is having approval in progress. So that is required approval to proceed for the next steps. So let's move to the next step. So if you want to review the UFE or any user wants to review the UFE, then they can click on view analytics. So see, this is the review UFE, this is the UFE, and these are the UFE percentage. So all the informations the user can see through visuals or through reports. So here this is the distributed polar step where the user can approve the allocated UFE, and so once the user has reviewed the UFE and they are agreed with this one, then they can approve through submitting this button. So our second sequence will be completed. So let's click on the approve button now. So once you will approve, your status will be changed here. Right now it's an approval in progress. So once you have approved, then it's a completed state. So now your sequence 2 or step 2 has been completed, and see, the status is yes now. So now we can go with the next step. So you can review your polar results through view analytics. So due to shortage of the time, I am just going with the next. You can view the settlements also through OUAV, and with the next button you can submit the settlements. So your settlements has been completed, and if you want to submit through communications, through outbound communications, you can click on the submit button. See here that particular transactions or settlements you can successfully send it to the particular retailer, wholesaler or supplier. If you want to see the settlement transactions, then you can click on this one. Okay, we need to just save it first. So as we already gone through the settlement transactions, but again I will just go through it. You can see that particular settlement transactions has been completed now, and it will send it through the outbound communications to the particular retailer or wholesaler. And these are the data which has been shared it to the wholesaler or various suppliers. You can see the individual details like total load, UFE participant total load, unaccounted for energy, zonal load. So all those informations, it can be sent it to the retailer, supplier or wholesalers. And then finally you can also send it those information or acknowledgement through email also. So this is the review submission where you can see those results through analytics, and then you can send it those informations or finish those information through email completion, which is the last step for that initial settlements. So this is the finish button. When you click on finish button, your initial settlement process has been completed. So for the initial settlements, we have just made it a single manual approval steps, but you can configure more steps for approvals. So now let's move to the next section. The next section is the OUAV. So the Oracle Utilities Analytics Visualizations, which gives you a graphical interface to derive strategic insights through visualizations, discovery, and exploration of data. And it analyzes the data inputs and results produced by the MSM. So examples like viewing the results of aggregations, comparing forecasted or actual weather data, analyzing the differences between settlement runs, such as how did UFE allocation changes between initial and final settlements. So all those informations you can see it through analytics view. The OUAV is a component of Oracle Analytics Server, and I can strongly say that this is really an essential tool for successful completion of settlement activities, where you can find for each step you can see the results through OUAV only. So I'm not going more detail into this one because we already seen it those information through our settlement processes. So I'm just skipping. So there are three major functional areas in the OUAV. One is the subject areas where you can see data objects are available, which is in the left hand side. The visualizations where you can see visualizations of the graphical displays and the workbooks. Now the last one is a communication. The final major component in MSM is a communication, which makes a use of both outbound and the inbound communications. So outbound communication is used to send a message from MSM to any other external sources or applications, whereas the inbound communication is used to receive messages from any external systems or applications. So now let's move to see the communications in the application itself. Okay, so we can see the communications in any settlement subscriptions or settlement transactions. So let's see any completed status of settlement transactions where we can see the communication status. So here in the settlement transactions, there is the outbound communications. So if you'll click on this communications, you can find it more details at what are the messages we are transferring from MSM to any other external systems. So here this is a communication portal where you can see the communication type, the status and the recipient. Here we are also providing the settlement transaction details in the communication itself, like the quantity, the status and the individual market contract and contractor both. Okay, so now move to the next section. The settlement contracts release and training updates. So we currently release 24C in cloud version and on-prem it is 24.3.0. You can see the release readiness through Oracle Help Center. You can also visit the Oracle University to do the training on MSM. So here is the MSM contracts. You can reach out to product managers. So I'm Ashish Shukla, so I sit in India, and here Lane Nelson who sits in US. So we both are working as a product manager in metering. You can contact us anytime. Okay, thank you.